So the audio is already recorded. What we've done already is we've scanned it in terms of getting the noise profile, right? Effect, again, noise reduction, get noise profile, run the effect again by just going effect. And the last noise that you have is the last effect that you run is usually at the top. And you store that in there. It reduces the noise. You can see here. Because I know this is a waveform that's going to generate noise, I can just delete it by pressing delete. And then I get a blank. Right, let's go. So I press play. So there's a lot of pause here in between these two. Let's say I want to just reduce the amount of pause I have. I'm going to delete that part. Here, I can highlight here as well. That's nice. And then press delete here. So we're shortening it, the space between the sounds, so that we get something that's more consistent and we can just remove all those extras. All right, so this is about 5 seconds of audio. Right, so all right, so the audio is not exactly the clearest thing in the world. If I was using my condenser mic, it would sound a lot cleaner, but that's fine. Right, so let's export this file. Choose export audio. And it's a good idea to know what formats that you're going to import it in. So let's say we're using TVPaint. I think TVPaint supports both WAV or MP3. So just to be certain, I'm just going to export it in both versions. So I have one bloop bloop one. So it's going to be MP3. By the way, the only way you can export as MP3 is if you install something called the FFmpeg codec. Excellent. Once you have that, you can run it. You press save. There it is. I will forego filling out this information. Press OK. And we just export also as a WAV as well. Export audio. And you get the file format you want. I'm going to choose WAV, 32-bit float. And we have another one, bloop bloop. So we have two, bloop bloop.mp3 and bloop bloop.wav. Now the thing about WAV files is that they tend to be much larger because they're an uncompressed format. So the size is actually kind of corresponding to how long it is. Even if it's like a silent thing, sometimes it's going to be a larger file because it has some waves in there. So let's look at the difference between those two files. I'm just going to go down. We have a BL for bloop. So let's look for that. BLOOP. Here we are, two of them. The MP3 file is 122 kilobytes. The WAV is 1.83 megabytes. So you can see the difference, even though the sizes are the same. One is small kilobytes, one is 1 megabyte. So let's have TVPaint opened up. And we have TVPaint here. What we want to do today is some lip syncing. Let's spell that out. Lip syncing. Yay. Like a face emote, no? Alright? So talking about lip syncing today. So when we're talking about lip syncing, two things come to mind. Lip and syncing. Visemes and phonemes. What are visemes and phonemes? We have the So a viseme has to do with visuals. Visuals is what you see. And phonemes is phonics, as in sounds like a phonograph. Like phonics, yeah? Yes, what it sounds like. So back in the day, they had phonographs. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So visemes is what you see. Phonemes is what you hear. Right? And these two play a very important role in lip syncing, because although we have mouth positions, right, what comes out of the mouth, even though it has the same position, can be different. Which means that if you draw a mouth position, let's say you have a library of mouth positions, like, you know, A and O and E and stuff like those. If you have an audio, rather than drawing over certain things, you can just substitute them instead. So if you look at modern cartoons these days, what they do is the same thing. They substitute the mouth positions. So you'll have characters who are talking, but you always see the same kind of mouth most of the time. Yeah. Ah, you like anime. You have the open mouth and you have the closed mouth in anime. And there's a reason for that. Essentially, in anime, they use open and closed mouth because one, it's cheaper to lip sync, and because they're going to be doing dubbed versions in multiple different languages. So if I had to do English pronunciations or Japanese pronunciation, it would look weird when they translate it to Spanish or Chinese or Jamaican or whatever, right? So those things are what we deal with. Visemes and phonemes. No, visemes. Yeah, it's because it's cheaper to it's a lot less time to animate. It's just do oh, you know, open close, smile, and all those things. Right. So we have our audio, and the thing about in TV Paint though is that you have project timelines and you have clip timelines. So project view gives you an overview of all your projects. So in a TV Paint project, you will have the different scenes broken down. So let's say you want to create a storyboard, because you can create storyboards in this, you know, believe it or not. So each of these represent a panel, right? And you could actually, we have clip view and project view. And these, if you hover over them, they can just tell you in a little flat very bottom, it tells you exactly what those do. So like column view, so you can see if you want to do a storyboard, right? You could say, all right, the action for this one is punch. And dialogue, "Arrgh." Yeah. And then you just draw like a punch, doing these punch type things, right? And you get something looking like that, right? So that's how that works. So, like I said, you could always create your own storyboards and stuff. But right now we're focusing on lip syncing. Now, when we're dealing with audio inside this program here, there's two ways you can deal with audio. You can deal with it on a project base, because you know, in a project you might have background audio. You know, sometimes talent films just use audio only. But you also have where persons are talking as well. You have those dialogues, and you have background music versus foreground talking, and sound effects and all those different things. All right, so what we'll do is import the audio first of all. So in the clip timeline, if you want to import audio, simple. You go to clip, you choose load sound, and it's gonna ask you what file format, and there's a whole bunch of different file formats to what you want to import. We're dealing with the audio that we created earlier, and we know what the name is called, bloop bloop. So let's see if it imports MP3. Press open. All right. Once you've imported it, right, you can check if it did by pulling this here and pulling this part down. So you can see here, bloop bloop.mp3. Pardon me? You pull this part down. You pull this up. Right? So here's what we have here. If you look closely, and I'll open up a magnifying glass. Magnifier. When it comes to sound and audio, you usually have sound waves, right? But you can actually see where the waveforms are in the audio. So you know when exactly the talking is going on versus silence, versus talking versus silence versus talking again, and silence and talking. The flat ones. So sound waves, silence. Sound waves, silence. Basically, it's almost the sound of your heart, right? So if your heart isn't making a sound, it's going to flatline. Wow. All right, let's go. So let's put that audio back in there. All right, and you have to be careful because you can actually delete your audio if you're not careful. Right? Shift K clears the visuals. All right, so let's play out this audio and see what it sounds like. Mark in, mark out. All right, let's change a few things. So I know that my time is actually going to be 1-1. The reason why it says 1-1 is because currently I only have one frame. So I'm going to extend this. I only have one frame, so mark in time would be one frame. Mark out time is one frame. So I'm going to pull this across, and I know the time actually stops here about 35. And I'm not gonna stretch it. I'm gonna empty instances instead. Right? So I'm gonna choose apply, and it creates those blank parts. So if I pull it across, it sounds really weird. That's because I was scrubbing it really slow. And I'll press play. Alright, it says welcome to Tools class. How much audio did we have before? About 5 seconds, right? So the reason why it only plays that much is because essentially we've only been up to there. So if I pull this further, you can see that there's more audio waves there, right? And it stops here. Right, I'm gonna stop this recording here.